They were absolutely amazed with the documentation with the 904. Looking through the file, everything was absolutely astounding to them. And then, you open up the car, you start the car, you make sure it runs properly. And at one point, it all started to click for him, and one of the judges says, "Open the front hood, I have to see something."
Oh yeah, he was like ready to.
Yeah, very
stump
deliberate.
it.
And we open up the hood, and he looks, he goes, "Oh yeah, it's got the original horsehair insulation for the gas tank." It was almost like,
Yeah,
it was almost like that
this is
moment they
real.
all looked at each other and said, "This is it, boys."
I'm gonna laugh if I say, "Hey." Okay. Hey, welcome to another episode of In the Driver's Seat with ABS. Ben and I, sorry Sean, we just came back from PEBBLE Car Week. It was absolutely insane. Probably one of the best car experiences I've ever had.
It's nuts.
Did it live up to it, or because we talked about it before
Yeah.
we left, or
So-
was it? Did it exceed it?
Well, you went to PEBBLE, so you can
Yeah.
attest to what Ben and I can share. But I mean, I kind of walked into it with low expectations. I didn't want to get overly excited, and once I got to the airport and got my rental car and started driving to Carmel, I got passed by an STO, a 720S, and a Huracan Spider just
were
on
you
the
like-
highway, and then that DK Engineering
F50?
RSR.
Oh, the RSR, the yellow one.
And then an M3 race car, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, it's funny.
I'm already
Were you like, it's beginning?
I was like, oh my God. I was like on the phone with my dad, like FaceTime, like showing him, and he's like, Mamma Mia, the sound. It was funny.
I remember I went first time in 2019, and I was on my way with David, and we saw a blower Bentley on the highway doing 80, and that's when it hit me like, oh, this is
Yeah.
legit. And that was a
so funny.
Concours car
Yeah.
driving to the event.
Yeah, on the
But
highway.
you can set your expectations as high as you want, and it's still the Super Bowl of cars.
Oh yeah.
You
The first time I was there, similar thing. My friend Roger and I, we got in our rental car. We were driving along. Like the first place we ended up was 17-mile drive, and the second we get on an F40, a straight piped F40, it was right in front of us. We were like, "Ah!" This is before we were surrounded by these cars, so you never see it, especially in the wild. And we were just like, I was like standing out the sunroof. It was so funny.
Oh,
yeah, it's just like a whole different, the scenery, the being on the highway, the 17-mile drive, going up to Big Sur, whatever it may be, just it's absurd.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just like every 30 seconds, and that's no exaggeration, you see a cool car or something cool.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
Well, so the reason why we went was because we had three cars in the Concours field. So the 1912 Roush and Lang, the 35 Lincoln Model K, and then was it the 64 Porsche 904? And I went out to document that for the museum, and you can actually see that YouTube video here. And Ben went out because you had to deal with a lot of the car transport and logistics and everything else. So we went, we had a lot of fun, but we were also really busy, doing our other jobs that we have to do. But the coolest car that I saw, he and I were, so every night after we were done working, we would take his Toyota race car, Corolla rental car. And
we need to add some footage of that thing. That Toyota did me well.
I have the fastest Corolla in Seaside.
He was like banging that thing off the rev limiter every 5 minutes.
Great car. Thank you, Toyota.
we would go to Carmel at night. We would just park the car and we would just walk around. And I think the first night we saw just a street parked F50, and we were.
That's like, yeah.
No, it was really funny. We're driving around. We see this F50. We start freaking out like, oh, street parked F50. We start looking at it, and these two, 13, 14, maybe 15 years old.
Oh
kids,
yeah, this is great.
They come by and they're like, oh my God, they're like on FaceTime or Instagram Live. Oh my God, F50. The kid's like, this is the second F50 I've seen today. Like, that's crazy. And these kids were standing by the car and they're like, we've seen 7 today, bro. It's like 7 F50s. Like, what is wrong with you? But, it
and
was.
how many did they bring to the U.S. at the time? Wasn't it like
I don't know.
50?
It was just
it's
a few,
a low number.
It's like 50, right?
Yeah.
It was like,
I feel like that's funny you say that, because later on through the week, we saw every other F50. I mean, there was
Well,
the
There's a
black,
black
one that
one.
we
I
saw,
think
the yellow one.
I think the DK guys organized some sort of F50 gathering. They had
did.
like they had like a small drive-in photo shoot with like 5 or 6 of them.
Which is
Yeah.
absurd.
And one of the guys had shipped his in. I don't know if he was trying to sell it or broker it or what, but it was a Japanese car.
Oh, cool.
So it was a whole group of them, and that's really what the Magic Pebble is. You have all these different events and gatherings.
Stuff is
and,
always
You know,
happening.
even just small car meets where just anything can pop out, and not just new stuff. You know, you're talking about just like pre-war Duesenbergs, just cruising around. You know,
there's
at
always
night and
like it's
whatnot.
always like the year of something. You know, like
It
the
really-
F50. I feel like F50s have all of a sudden kind of it's like the car now.
real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like for a while it was like you know a lot of people.
The
I always
F40
love
is,
that car.
Is people like the F40 more, but now I feel like
Yeah,
the
but-
F50 has gotten to the age where it's really appreciated.
But I remember, you know, in 2014 when I was there, it was the year of the big 3.
Yeah.
The 918 LaFerrari and the P1. But so like all the Ferrari guys, there was like multiple times where you would see a 288 GTO, an F40, an F50, and a LaFerrari just all together. It was like that was like the thing.
8 years ago.
Yeah, in
that's
2000
still crazy to me.
Yeah, that was like the thing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2014.
I would have seen that, and like Andrea Bocelli would have been like playing in my head, and like I would just see like a glaze of like the Italian like flag.
That was like
national
that
anthem.
was like the Ferrari flex because you know like
Yeah.
McLaren it was like the P1 and the F1 but
Yeah.
like the Ferrari really flexed like the owners wanted to really flex their muscles.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of P1s.
I saw a good amount of P1s
Yeah.
considering that was the least
regular
produced of the
P1s,
Trinity.
P1 GTRs, the like another version of the GTR. Like and we saw a ton of Koenigsegg's.
A lot of Koenigsegg's. Well, going back to what Sean said, I mean, it's always the year of something. On that Friday, we were, we had quail tickets. We were at Bonhams. We were bidding on cars. We were in and out of Bonhams. And I'm just like getting updates from like Instagram, like, oh, Koenigsegg CC850 just released.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like right down the street. Oh, Roof has a new hill climb car, and it's like right down the street. It's just like
yeah.
everything.
Bugatti.
Everything. The GT3 RS was
yeah, the GT3
publicly
RS, yeah.
shown for the first time. It's just stuff keeps coming out, and you see
Yeah.
all these new, things that come right out of Pebble. It's like this is really the nucleus
it's
of
crazy.
all of the attention in the car world
Well,
for an entire week.
You were saying how you go. You're gonna have no idea about
No
like,
idea.
what
You can
the-
set your
what-
expectations as
what
high
the
as
quail
you want.
is, and
Yeah.
I walked into the quail with David, and I was just at everything, and
Yeah.
David's like stringing me along around the field. He's
The
like, "Come on,
leash.
come on, I'm hungry." So like we just like walked around. But that Koenigsegg is one of the coolest cars I've ever seen. I mean, it's a manual transmission and an automatic transmission. I
Yeah, you
mean,
like put it all the way.
it's the coolest thing, and you can drive it like a total manual if you want to, but if you're in traffic or you just don't feel like driving
That's
it,
so
it's just
that's so bizarre. Like the engineering behind that has to be.
And you know it works.
Oh, yeah.
Christian
Oh.
has that thing working mint.
I tried to see if I could get a picture with him or talk to him. There was no way. There was this crowd of
Mob.
people around
Yeah.
him, and I was like, oh, well.
We
there-
did bump
there he
into
is.
some pretty
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
people at the quail.
That Mr. JWW guy was in my hotel, so I met him in the morning and then talked to him at the quail, and I met the Daily Driven Exotics guys,
Yep.
and then I also met Parker from Vehicle Virgins,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was super nice and really welcoming. And
Dude,
and
everyone has to check out the Parker video, the
Yeah,
Vehicle Virgins
yeah,
video.
yeah.
We had, they featured our Roush and Lang
Yeah.
at Pebble. They were talking about the electricity.
Yeah, well, I ran into him, and I was like, because he was right near the, what's the name of the class? It's
It was,
unorthodox.
Propulsion, yeah.
It was next to the unorthodox propulsion class, which the Roush and Lang was in, and Parker was right there, and I had been watching his channel since like the early days of it, and I went up to him and I introduced myself, and I was like, hey, this
Tony
is
was
our-
like, hey,
this is another episode of ABS. And I like brought him over to the car, and he was really like enthusiastic about it, and he was
Yeah.
asking David a ton of questions, and I was like, why don't you just film it and
Yeah.
put it on your thing? So he did, and he filmed it, and David showed him the batteries, and he was like really nice about the whole thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you see these people online, but a lot of times they're just
Well,
Yeah,
you-
it's
they're
a
just like
personality, yeah.
normal guys.
yeah, and you wouldn't expect like an influencer like that, like a young guy to be like interested in a
Yeah.
1912
Yeah.
electric
That's-
car
that's
with
great.
tiller
he's
steering.
a true car guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does love all kind
That's
of
cool.
cars.
We're gonna
that-
have to get some of these people on these
On the ABS
Oh,
podcast.
no.
on our channel.
I
you
know.
That
I
would
know.
be cool.
Well, that's what's crazy about Pebble is, yeah, you see all the cars, but everybody's also there. So you're bumping into.
Yeah. Well, I saw Aaron Paul from
Yeah.
Breaking Bad on the Concours field. He walked right by me and he was like, "Yo, look at this yellow Ferrari." And I tried to talk to him, not really. I couldn't even because he had this whole posse of people around him. But
It's a great week. You can, well, I've said it twice now, you can take your expectations so high and it never keeps letting you down. But everybody asks me, is this a bucket list thing? It's like we're lucky enough and
I think
so thankful to be going with the museum and showing cars and being engaged. I guess
winning. We'll get to
and
that.
winning.
Yeah.
My question is, would you go and spend the money and do it yourself on your own dime? I mean, there's so much going on. It's like you kind of have to do it.
I did. That's how I did it.
Yeah. And is it a different experience or for you?
I went in, just purely as a spectator. I didn't know what to expect other than it's PEBBLE.
Yeah.
It's the one you have to go to. So for me, I was 24 when I went, and it was nuts. I think I didn't really know what to expect, and the best part for me was Carmel.
It's so good.
Hanging around Carmel, cars just doing the loop.
Yeah.
Just seeing the most ridiculous street parked cars that you'll see, talking to everyone who's there. Everyone's a car enthusiast, so you're just having conversations with everyone. I remember there was a early 911 that was parked. It was a unique color, and this guy I was looking at it, and this guy came up. He was wearing this big hat. He had a fanny pack with flashlights, and he was looking at it, and he was just a big paint enthusiast, and he's like, this paint is. It's just you get all different kinds of people who are just love all different aspects about cars, and it's just it brings everyone together. For me, and then I liked going to the auctions just to watch. We went to the auctions, my friend Roger and I, and we went to Gooding, we went to RM, and just watched. Obviously, we weren't bidding, but
you just watch it.
The event, from a spectator, it's absolutely incredible. I felt personally as a spectator, as a younger kid, it was kind of hard to get into anything.
Right.
I think that was the biggest thing.
I sense there's two different levels of Car Week. You have all the big ballers who are buying at the auctions, showing at PEBBLE, serious networking, planning meetings, having business, and then you've got probably a group like our age who's got the money to go. Maybe they're not spending $2,000 to go to the Quail. Maybe they're not.
We walked around the Quail parking lot. We didn't go in.
The parking lot is
worth it.
The parking lot is great, but it's even just the energy of everybody there. Everybody's in Car Week mode. It's this is the Super Bowl. I've got this great energy to meet people and see the best cars and all that. And it's that's what I tell people. It's if I had a roof tent on my car, I would drive out there, sleep in the roof tent.
Would be like that 996 road trip guy. I saw him driving around Carmel. I was like, hey,
you don't even have to go to all the events.
No, you don't. You can just be there. I didn't get to go to Laguna Seca, which I was really wanting to do. I know you guys did.
Handshake.
I think that was one of the. I think
Laguna Seca is overwhelming within itself.
Laguna Seca and Carmel probably would have been my favorite things as a spectator. And then, of course, we went to the show on Sunday as a spectator. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite part of the whole week, though, for me.
It's crazy.
Now if I were involved in the museum showing the car, I think I would really enjoy that part.
But if you don't have really have as much of a buy-in, it's...
I think to a point we kind of felt like outsiders. But that's
interesting.
That's
interesting
really really brought a perspective when we do our concours. I try and be.
That's why that's obviously our big focus is it's not just a Sunday big money car show. This is a family weekend.
Exactly.
We want everybody here. We want everybody enjoying themselves, whether it's at Wine by the Water, whether it's at the Concours, Cars and Coffee, whatever. It's this multifaceted family event, which is really cool.
I think
here in Newport.
I think for our Concours, I think the Saturday is the best day because you get 1,000 cars at Cars and Coffee, or almost 1,000 cars, and then
maybe more than 1,000.
Yeah, pedal cars don't count.
That's a car.
True, it has 4 wheels and a steering wheel, but and you go to Cars and Coffee and you see all these great cars, and then you go to the front of the museum and you see all the tour cars
Yeah.
come in, and they're parked in front of the museum, and you know, you can just go there and you can see it, and then you can walk to the village and you can do all that for free.
But
which is nice.
to answer your question, you have to go.
I would have to go.
You have to go. You have to go to Pebble.
And,
you have to experience it.
and it's not just, you know, the big money stuff. It's like at one point I was going to get gas, and there was this group of like 50 like M3s and like 911s going up.
So much
it was this
cool
Instagram
M3s.
influencer I hadn't heard of. He had like a bunch of followers or whatever, and he was leading a drive up Highway 1, and it's like you can go out there to drive. It's like
just go. Like
The
I
roads
think
are
the biggest
fantastic.
thing is go out there with. Don't go out there with like expectations of like you have to do this.
Yeah.
This. I think you kind of just experience the whole thing and kind of go with the flow, and you're gonna find, like you said, these meetups. And to me, that was the most fun. Following, you know, when Shmi was there when I was there, and you know, just watching the process and just seeing like little things like that. And
that's a good point.
He was filming when I was at the Quill. He was filming the new Bugatti Mistral.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny to, you know, how he is in his videos seems like how he is in person. He's just like walking around, and it's just funny to like watch the
and
whole
he does
thing.
it himself. And
Yeah,
it's just a cool. It's just a thing, you know, for us, especially who grew up watching these YouTube videos, and for a lot of us younger guys, if you will. It's like nothing else.
I think you have to go.
You have to go.
And again, you don't have to go to every event. It's like you hang around in the parking lot, you meet these great people, you stay in touch, and everybody's got this great energy about themselves for the entire week.
I think if you are gonna go though, I think you have to go to Laguna Seca. That was
That's not doable. I mean, the ticket was what, $120?
Yeah,
it's like it's a decent amount of money, but it's like
But that's
But
you see F1 GTRs,
we
you see
saw
CLK GTRs.
moving,
I mean,
not just with stanchions
everything.
behind them.
on one of the most iconic tracks.
Oh, it's so good.
What was awesome about it is, you know, when we walked into Laguna, again, we're looking at all the cars in the parking lot. We saw a couple GT3 RSs. We saw Murcielago SV. And then we're walking through the parking lot, and we see a Chiron next to two, I think it was a Suburban and like a Pathfinder. We walk up to the Chiron, and Laguna Seca is kind of dusty because of all the dirt around it. The Chiron was really dusty, and we're looking at the car, and we look at it, and there's a bunch of like "Wash Me" stuff all over it.
Kids were like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is like,
Scratch the paint.
that's just how approachable the week seems.
Yeah.
And it's like you
Yeah.
got these 10-year-olds running around like it's
I
normal.
mean, and
It's like,
that's not a negative reflection of the car week or Laguna or anything else. It's just, you
That's
know,
how
It's just
approachable.
it's a car. That guy drives his car.
Yeah.
And he drives it to the track,
his car.
and then he takes his track car out.
Laguna
it was
is something else.
It was cool because we walk into Laguna and we walk through kind of the paddock area, and then we sit there and we're looking at I think it was cars going into turn 3 or turn 4. And that BMW M1 that went by, it's just he and I just looked at each other, and it was like we needed new pants after hearing that car.
that car, I mean, in a sea of, you know, slant nose 911s, you know.
Well,
and
Dario Franchitti was in whatever that
they were
thing.
in Lolas. It was a big class.
Totally.
Lee Hauer was in that
Yeah.
class with his big man 3.0 RSR.
And he's a museum member and a motorsport member.
Dude, he did,
So
Lee,
really cool.
All right, so Lee actually did this.
He's the
in
coolest guy ever.
Best way. He got a E39 M5, drove across the country.
Oh, wow.
And then raced the big man RSR at Laguna, and then did all the other activities
stuff
throughout
and-
the week.
yeah.
He is the coolest guy
Absolute
ever.
legend. Absolute legend.
We're listening to him, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, it was a little scary out there, but you know, I'm just here to have fun." It's like
that's
the way to do it.
He's the
You
chillest
just gotta
guy.
have fun, and you gotta you
Yeah.
know, enjoy your cars. And there's like we said, there's so many ways to do it. You could do it that way, which is awesome, like a dream, or you can just go out and walk around.
There are
just
so
cool.
many aspects to it.
Yeah.
It's almost overwhelming. I think it was
Or
overwhelming
you
for
can,
you.
or you can come with 3 cars like us,
Oh my
and
God.
take home some medal.
That's the thing with us is we are in such a crazy unique position to be like intrinsically involved with Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just going. It's not like we're just buying cars. It's like we not only showed 3 cars on the field, we took home awards in 2 of those classes.
And we were the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th car, correct?
Yeah.
Out on the field in the morning.
Yeah.
And we were the first car lined up at the tour on Thursday.
That was
which
fun.
It's not crazy important, but it is really cool to see that we were the first ones and we really cared about the event.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We care about the cars. We care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, you know, it was funny because we're all lined up at the gate on Sunday morning to get ready to go in, and we were like, oh my God, we're gonna be the first ones. And was it Cam Ingram, right?
Yeah.
There's a gate to get onto the golf course past
yeah.
the lodge, and then there's a little path right next to it.
Yeah.
And they had measured the distance of the path.
Like the night before.
Yeah, the night before to get was 550 Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get their 550 Spider down the golf cart path, which was like perfect for it to fit through, so they could be the first ones. It's like
I picked up last year. You know, you want to be first. It's a competition. It starts the day off. And last year we were like, all right, let's get up early and be first in line. And it's like we weren't up early enough. We get there and we were like 6th in line, and it's like, why do we get up this early to be 6th? So it's like this year we're gonna be first. I'm like, Ben, I'm picking you up at 3:15 and we're getting to the field. So, you know, we hustle. We drive by the entrance, nobody down there. Go get the car, basically race back at 3 in the morning in this 904. Not racing, but it's like we're trying to hustle and get there.
Yeah.
We're coming down the hill, and the Ingram team is just covering up their car. But they're first every year, so it's like if we're going to be second to anybody, the guys who do things at such a high quality all the time, like at
It's
least.
also super cool you had that car followed by the.
Yeah, it was fun to be up that early and just shoot the shit with them.
Yeah.
Just that early in the morning. It was a cool experience.
And I really liked, I had a media badge, so obviously I had to film everything.
Yeah.
And I was with you guys for a while, like at the car waiting for light to come out and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they're like, you need to get on the field. And I was like, why do I need to get on the field if I can just film it here? I had to go to the media section. That's the rules. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I walk 30 minutes before we had gotten coffee at one of the tents on the field itself.
Yeah.
There was just, Concours participants getting coffee.
Yeah.
30 minutes after that, I walked to the media tent, and I walked to like where the media section is, and there is a sea of people lined the entire route to get onto the field. And I'm walking up against this, and there's like there must have been 1,000 people.
And this is like 6 a.m.
Yeah, it's 6 in the morning, and I was very overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God.
They do it.
How am I gonna film this? I mean, I was able to film it because I kind of nudged through.
Yeah.
But like,
people come out.
You
in
don't
huge
expect.
numbers.
Yeah.
You look down the field, and this is the 18th fairway at Pebble. Like if
It
you're
looks
not
like a
if you're not a
football
golf
stadium.
person, this is probably a quarter mile, maybe even
Yeah.
more, of just a big long piece of a golf course.
Yeah.
You get any sort of elevation and look down the field,
Sea of
and you
people.
don't even see cars.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable at Pebble Beach. It is just human bodies.
Well, when we stopped to get lunch in the middle of the day there, both of us looked down, and the only cars that I could see was that Lincoln class because they're taller pre-wars. All of the other stuff I couldn't even see.
Yes.
And I have
there were a lot
cool
of people.
shot of that.
2021, foreigners weren't coming into the country, so the event just didn't have that really overwhelming feel. This year, everybody
Everyone
from
was there.
every other country was back, like with a vengeance.
Oh,
it was huge.
It was nuts.
How was the judging with our cars?
Well, it was funny. I ended up being Donald's sidekick for the 904. I was holding the book. I had a very important job.
In front of Simon Kidston.
Very important job.
Yeah.
And I wasn't involved with the Lincoln judging. Maybe. Oh, you filmed the route, so you can talk about the route.
I saw all 3 cars get judged.
Yeah, but with the 904, that car has 1,800 miles from new. Nothing's been changed.
We're the second owners.
Second owners. It's been it was bought to be stored, and we're going through the file, and they're trying to pry it apart. It's like they're trying to find something that is not completely original to the car. That's their job.
And
So-
everything on the car is original except for the exhaust tips, which Begovic remade,
Machined,
and then the fuel cell or whatever.
Begovic was the previous owner of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
you can see a whole video about Begovic up here on our YouTube channel.
They were absolutely amazed with the documentation with the 904. Looking through the file, everything was absolutely astounding to them. And then, you open up the car, you start the car, you make sure it runs properly. And at one point, it all starting to click for them. And one of the judges says, open the front hood. I have to see
Oh
something.
yeah,
With
he was like ready to.
Yeah, very
stump
deliberate.
it.
And we open up the hood, and he looks. He goes, "Oh yeah, it's got the original horsehair insulation for the gas tank." It was almost like It was almost like that
this is
moment.
the
They all
real.
looked at each other and said, "This is it, boys."
They knew.
This is it.
They knew.
They checked the headliner. They checked numerous parts of the engine. Headliner was perfect. A lot of people delete it because you don't need headliner in a race car.
Yeah.
Everything lined up. Everything.
Yeah,
It was like exactly how you should be presenting a preservation class car at a concours.
And it was an incredible class. Right?
It was a stunning class. You had E-types. You had
That all original Ferrari or whatever it was.
like with this, it's there's patina, and then there's like
yeah.
beyond patina.
And
The chrome was too far gone.
The Auto
paint was
Bianchi
totally
there,
gone.
the Bertone concept. That thing was like crazy looking.
How was it when they brought when the ribbons started to come out?
Well, that was the thing. So that's one thing we learned about our event. I'm looking for a class host. I'm looking for a class help. We got no ribbons. It's after 1 o'clock. I'm looking for any sort of advice. They did it totally differently this year. So I don't believe they put the ribbon on the car.
Okay.
So I was just searching for some help.
Yeah, they just
and no
call
one
it
could
out.
answer
Oh,
my
they
questions.
just call it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
it was kind of like we were in the dark for a while, which really builds that
Yeah, you're just
suspect.
like, am
You're
I gonna
sitting there
win?
like, you
Yeah.
got a crowd by your car, like, where is the ribbon? Where are the
Yeah.
judges? And it was like just this kind of wait, hurry up and wait type of thing.
And then when they called it,
It was just crazy. It was almost like I'm not saying we expected it, but it was like there's no way someone can come in and beat us at our own game with this.
It was, Nick was there watching the judging, and I've never seen him nervous before, and he literally goes, "I can't stay here. I'm gonna jinx it."
Yeah.
It's
a big moment.
It's huge.
It's
It's
a
my
huge,
God.
huge moment for him, and I think that's the happiest I've ever seen him when the car won.
Yeah.
And so I filmed the Lincoln getting judged, the 904, and the Roush, and
That's amazing, by the way. We had three
Yeah.
cars on completely different areas of the field, and Antonio with this friggin' camera is like
Your boy-
camelbacking
getting his
along the
steps
whole
in.
field.
How many steps
yeah.
did you crank out?
Yeah, plenty.
I think I walked like 10 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
You walked more
Yeah.
because you had more stuff to do in the morning than
yeah.
I did.
Well, we were all over the place. But
Yeah.
the fact that you got
Yeah.
all three cars
Yeah,
filmed
I was
is like,
I had to run.
deserves
I had to
some
run
applause
at
in
one
itself.
point. But
Yeah.
the judges were really
for the Lincoln.
interesting. Well, the Lincoln. So the interesting thing, the Lincoln didn't get an award. That's okay. 2 out of 3 is pretty good.
right,
2 out of
right,
3 is pretty
right.
good.
That
But
was one of the toughest classes too.
It was.
They had
and,
some great cars.
and all the cars in that class were just like stunning.
Babinski's car was in that class, right?
And Carini, yeah.
Steve Babinski and Wayne Carini are like some of the guys around here,
Yeah.
especially Babinski. He's a top dog.
But I'm thinking about that photo of Ben Mercer and
Oh, Wayne Carini. We might have to put that on the screen.
probably not.
We might have to.
It's so bad, dude. So, I was watching the judging of the Lincoln, and it was it. So, okay, it was the second car to be judged. It was
Yeah.
like this is like 9 a.m. The judges are like on it, and Jacob was saying, "Oh, this light works," and then Lee turns the light on, and then one of the judges goes, "Oh, we didn't ask the other car."
No, it was the wiper.
The wiper.
It was the
okay.
wiper.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Jacob's
yeah,
like, "Oh."
yeah. Sorry.
The wiper
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And then the judge's like, "Oh, we didn't talk to the last car about the wiper."
Yeah.
So they ended up judging the car, right?
Yeah.
Going back to the first car and saying, "We need to see your wiper."
And it didn't work.
Yeah, and the guy was like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't want to show you my wiper." And he's like, "Well, we need to see the wiper." And the thing
Yeah.
didn't work.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's like you got to have, if you're going to Pebble and you want to win an award, you better make sure every crevice of that car is clean.
Oh,
You
yeah.
better
It works.
damn well make sure every
they-
hand on the clock is ticking at the right
And those judges,
frequency.
they look at literally everything. With the Roush and Lang, they were super intrigued with, the batteries and the way that the gear shifter worked and the bell, and they were. I mean, they look at it from.
And it's efficient too. They're not
Literally-
taking 20
yeah,
minutes.
no.
It's like 5-7 minutes. They know what they've seen and they're moving on.
Every person in the class is looking at a specific thing. You can see that they're all very organized.
Each one of the judges.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
judges,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
have all of very specific tasks. One guy's the upholstery guy, the other guy is the engine guy, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's especially with with every car, but with the Roush and Lang, they were really intrigued to see this mostly all original electric car
Yeah.
from 1912.
Well, and in that class, you had like a wood burning propulsion system.
coal-fired car as well. I mean,
all kinds of stuff. So like to win an award in that class,
Yeah.
I think said a lot.
Oh,
like that
yeah.
car, you know, Evan Ide and all the guys over there,
Oh, yeah.
they busted tail on that car.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
shout out Fernie.
shout out Fernie. That car did really well, and we got the word it won third in class.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like Ben, like get in the car and get some footage.
Yeah.
It was like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like it just got thrown in the car.
You went across the stage
At Pebble.
Beach.
Dude, it's
That's super
and you
cool.
grabbed the award.
I
That's
got-
very
and,
cool.
and I have footage of it.
Yeah.
I grabbed it and I have a video in my other hand.
It's
It was unbelievable. There are so many people waiting for cars to just waft up.
Yeah.
And they were so amazed that the car was electric.
yeah.
It's like, oh my God, it's silent. And we're ringing the bell and we get the
It was so
tiller.
cool. I saw you guys go by, and then same thing with the 904.
Unbelievable experience. in that
It was
car.
a really cool experience, and
Yeah.
it makes me super excited for our Motor Week, which is coming up in less than a month from
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy to think.
So
Well, that's the best part. I mean, going to Pebble as a spectator, one thing. Going to Pebble with an intrinsic, form of help, as in showing free cars,
Yep.
that's a total another thing. But being a core member of an event like that and like helping put the piece together
I
is like
felt
totally
like
different.
it's
way.
At the end of the
better.
Sunday, I felt like I had like an amazing
Yeah.
feeling of team spirit. I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah.
was really cool to be a part of the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. But
I can't wait for ours.
I know.
I'm so
it's
excited.
gonna, with some of the cars that are coming. Whew.
Oh my God, Nick Waller. I don't know.
Killed it.
First of all, I don't know how he did it. Second of all, him and Donald and all the judges
Yeah.
for the Audrain Concours, they've got their work cut out.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's a
this is going to
serious-
be the best Concours Sunday we've had, and one of the best around the country
Without a
in
doubt.
years.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be
it's good luck to the judges. Like,
We
I
got
don't
a
know how
lot
they're
of,
going to do it.
and we're gonna have some footage from that for our ABS.
Yeah.
yes,
We're gonna be running around.
If you think I'm going to stand still to
Yeah.
shoot a podcast,
we're not going to be sleeping for about a week.
Yeah,
Tiff
yeah,
goes
yeah.
away for that week. My wife
Does
and my
she?
kid.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
that's smart.
that's not.
That's
Can't
not
be
even
around me
an
that week. So
Yeah,
So we
I
can
mean, we
share a
don't
hotel.
sleep that whole
yeah,
week
we don't
anyway.
sleep.
That is.
Oh my God, ABS Hotel.
Oh yeah.
Join us on the
Hotel
other
party?
website for that.
Pillow fight. Oh my God.
We're not
So
putting
yeah,
that in.
that'll be good.
I'm so excited. We have like 3 weeks, dude.
Yeah,
I know.
And if you want to buy tickets, where do you buy tickets?
Audrain Concours with an S.com. On the website, buy them at the door. Whatever you need to do, whatever's easiest for you, we will make it work.
get in and do it early because a lot of the tickets sell out. So I mean, get in there, come see the show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited.
All right, I gotta go.
Bye, Barry.
Terry, you're coming with me.
Yes, I am.
Bye, Terry. Bye, Barry.